All right, all right. We are live on Facebook, and I am
Hi.
so freaking thrilled to be here with you, Charlene. This is Coach Charley Brown. She is a four-time award-winning author, four-time best-selling author. She's a friend of mine, and I've gotten to know her a lot better over the past year, and just feel really grateful that Facebook and life and everything brought us together, because this woman was meant to be in my life. Once you hear her story, the courage that she has, what she does, you're also is it in the Navy? Is that right?
Yeah,
Navy, right?
I'm a reservist in the Royal Canadian Navy, just to add to the plate.
No big deal. But she's a rock star. She's a total rock star. So, Charlene, I would love for you to just tell people a little bit about you, about your family life, where you're from, and you know, how did this all come about that you became an author?
So I'm going to give you a brief 16-year story.
Perfect.
I'll shorten it up for you. When I was 16 years old, I was lost. I was in grade 11 at the time. I was doing drugs. I was skipping school. I didn't care what my parents had to say. It's ironic because my son is currently about to turn 16. So full circle in my life right now. I fell in love. I fell in love with the wrong man. For me, I wish him well. I'm not here to bash him. We had an experience. Before we knew it, we were pregnant. And when I was 18 years old, I delivered a preterm child. He's my son. His name's Jaden. He's doing tremendous now, but he had immense health issues that come with being a preemie, but also just genetically with himself. So fast forward 30 months, I had two more children. They were also born preemies. So within 30 months, in an unhealthy relationship, I had three preemies, and it was horrendous. It was, Christina, I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And it brings tears to my eyes now. When you are pregnant, when you're about to deliver this baby, and you have all these plans, it's like every cliche out there, you have plans, and it didn't work for me. My children together combined spent over 30 months straight in the NICU because my kids were so close together. It was NICU home, preterm baby, NICU home, preterm baby, NICU home. We were broke, we were unhappy, we were exhausted, we had sick children with significant health issues. I learned in that moment, instantaneously, that it takes a village. My village at the time is not entirely the same as it is now, but I could not have survived that chapter of life without strangers helping me. And it's interesting now that we fast forward a few years that I am a stranger helping people, but we'll back up to where I was. Unhealthy relationship. We ended up getting married, lots of narcissism, lots of abuse in different forms.
God, I need tissues. Hold on.
We were juggling children, juggling sick children, juggling the judgment of being young parents with sick children. It was awful. But it was an experience.
I can't even imagine. First of all, I didn't have my child until I was 32. Okay. So like I was a grown up. I had a significant income. I had a good relationship. I had all that kind of, so I was very, very blessed. I can't imagine going through that as a teenager, going through that, like when you haven't had life experience or, like I can't even imagine, like you had to grow up yesterday. Like it wasn't
instantly. Wow. And the judgment from society I felt, and from my family. And, the first day of kindergarten, I was treated like I was the nanny of this little 5-year-old, right? And everywhere I went, every time I tried to advocate for my children, there was a door slammed in my face. You're just a young dumb. That's what it felt like. It felt like from the minute my children were born, I had to grow. I had to evolve. I'm still fighting for them tooth and nail. I always will. I always have. Fast forward to when my children were 5, 6, and 8 is when I grew my voice. Up until that point, I learned how to deal with sick children. I learned routine. I learned structure. I learned how to advocate the health system. I learned resources. When you are young and you are broke and you have kids, you learn quite quickly the health unit support system, the leash league and nursing and pumping. You learn to rely on your village because it is impossible to do alone. Yeah. So when my kids were all in school is when I myself as a soul and a woman was able to pause. This is when I was able to exhale. My kids were in school. I dropped them off. Now, what was I going to do all day? This was where I started counseling. I started meditating. I started focusing on what I'm eating and nourishing my body. I started reading more because I had a little bit of freedom in those like 6 or 7 hours. And for me, that was my time to grow. I started working, and all of this I shared online. I started blogging. I started going live. I started transforming and growing, and I started sharing that because I knew from my experience that there was someone else who felt absolutely alone. She was up crying in the middle of the night because she didn't know how to help her child. She was crying in the middle of the day because she got in a fight with her partner or spouse or family member. Somewhere, someone was struggling, and I had been there and I knew how to support her. So I just started sharing online.
You were so before your time, girl.
It's quite the evolution.
Yeah.
At this time, I was introduced to a health and wellness company. I'm going to leave all businesses out of it because I'm going to. Anyways, that company changed my life. Within a 2-year period, I lost 100 pounds. I documented the whole entire experience. I photographed everything I ate. I was super accountable. We were sharing and going live and building friendships and relationships and empowering others to focus and pause and think about what they're eating and consuming and putting into their bodies and why, and to exercise. And it was just this tremendous period of growth. It was also in that chapter of life, the end of my marriage. I never wanted to be divorced, but I knew that I was married to the wrong person. I'm not going to go into that because I don't believe in being hateful or dramatic or ugly about it. But it was raw and awful and shocking. And the end of my marriage, ironically, was the best thing that happened to me and also my children. But it was also the thing that changed their world immensely.
It sounds like you were going through growth really quickly, right? Like you were growing as a human, you were taking responsibility, you outgrew that relationship.
I outgrew myself. There was about 4 years of tremendous change. I would have never have seen it coming. I wouldn't have believed you, Christina, if you told me, you know, your whole life's going to change. I would have been like, you're crazy. That's dumb. I don't want that. I put up boundaries saying like, nope, this is my bubble. This is my lane. I'm going to stay here wrong. That was the worst thing. I'm so grateful for the earthquake that happened in my little tiny world because it shook me to the core and we came out so much healthier, happier. It's been tremendous. Where I was in that chapter of life, I was very public online. I was blogging, I was writing, I was sharing. I had developed a following, a support network, friends. People were constantly coming to me. I was a shoulder for everyone. And then one day, I had a real good conversation with someone I went to school with. I'd known her for 20 years. Her name's Kylie. She owns a publishing house based out of Toronto.
Is that how you know her?
Oh, yeah. Known her since elementary school, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
She said to me, hey, you ever thought about joining one of our co-author books? And I was like, nope,
Like,
not at all. I don't write. And she said, everything you're doing online belongs in a book. And I said, nope, not for me, not at all. I have no money. I'm divorced. My whole life is over. Nope, not at all. I tend to do this. I say no. I put up these walls and I'm silly to do so. Anyways, we had a conversation and it really resonated with me. And lo and behold, I joined a book project and it changed my world. It changed my world. I'll get there. My first book I joined was with Kylie directly. I don't know if you can see this. It was called On Her Plate. Yeah. This book was really interesting. I called my chapter Healthy Self, and it's lessons on how I learned to heal myself. This one specifically, I talk about how I learned to value my physical body, not just my mental and emotional state, but my physical body. And I share about my weight loss. I share about being accountable, about focusing on my own health and putting my own needs first. And the whole entire project was a very good distraction in a really hard time. I ended up
sorry, I don't want you to move on to the next book because I wanted to talk about this book because now, everybody is at home and they have time to look into self-care and self-love. Like it's not just a mindset thing. Your health, your all over body health is so important. So that book On Your Plate is such a brilliant book to inspire you to take control of your health and wellness.
Yes. And the authors who are in this book, I never realized when you join a book or you join a project that you gain a new family. Yes. These women challenge me to be better and they teach me their secrets to success, how they support me through every life obstacle, but also hold me accountable to my own health and wellness needs. It's immense. And, to put it to COVID, to present day, if you don't pause and nourish your body and soul right now while you're in this constant state of stress, you will not come out all right. And I feel like that's important for your toddler and your mother and for yourself as a person. Yes, take this time to grow and heal and recover and break bad habits, because if not now, when?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That really does tie it in. It does tie it in, and it hits home for so many people that are watching this right now, because you just kind of go along. If you're not conscious of living your life and purposefully living with intention, you just go along and you just go day in, day out, and you don't think about, the food that you're eating or the exercise that you're getting. You're just like, this is my life. But now you have time to integrate new healthy habits. You have time to pay attention. You have, and it only takes 3 weeks to integrate a new habit. I don't like quitting things. I think quitting things is hard. I like integrating new things to take the place of those old things.
Yes. Mindset, all about mindset. This is either going to be the worst thing you go through or the best thing you ever do for yourself.
Yes.
Which is it? Which do you choose? Absolutely. We're all affected by being isolated and this virus, but it doesn't mean that you can't grow right now.
Right. Absolutely. Sorry, continue on your path. Tell me about your other books. I want to know. And then I want you to talk a little bit too about, because I think you're in the process of another compilation and that you are currently looking for authors or maybe?
We're constantly looking for authors, but you got to back up. That's a bad word. We're looking for women who want to share a little snippet of their life or some life experience or some point where they grew or went through trauma and overcame, or maybe they just have finished school or finished a course and came out so inspired. Those are the people we're looking for. What Kylie does with her publishing house is teaches them to be authors. I was not an author. I knew nothing about this. I can't believe I am one. It still feels surreal. Congratulations. You're about to be It's unreal, but it's a new identity to me. I'm still just me sharing my soul to help you. It's just now my art is writing.
Yes.
You don't have to be somebody who paints to be an artist. Right now, my art is writing, but my art is also gardening, and it's also parenting, and it's also growing as a person. My soul needs all of those things. But I will introduce more because I've got a good stack here. At the same time I was doing On Her Plate, I joined another book, of course. This one's called Her Art of Surrender. And we have version 1, we have version 2. So this was a hard book for me to write, but this is a book I think every single woman needs. It's small enough to fit in your bag, but the support in here is immense. And in this book, my chapter and story is called I Am Worthy. And I'm literally sharing my raw experience and painful journey to discovering that I'm worthy of love, worthy of my time, worthy of forgiveness for all my wrongings, worthy of joy. I don't understand why I lived so much of my life married to the wrong person, accepting the wrong treatment and day-to-day life when there was a change that was possible to have joy. All we had to do was pivot. All I had to do was look within, but I never knew that. I just accepted this ugly and decided that's all I was worthy and capable of. And in these books, I express and explain my transformation to realizing I matter. I matter. I deserve love. I am love. I give love. Like, what the heck? Why do we settle ever?
There are so many women that still need to learn this lesson, and men too, right? They're like, it's not just women that get into these situations. It's and I think through growth, like we've all been. I mean, I don't even want to think about those relationships, to be perfectly honest. Like I just don't. But it's so crazy because we just accept what is, and you're living in it. But I think as you grow and as you do personal development and as you age a little bit and you come into your own, you're like, wait a second, I don't have to do this. I don't have to be here. I don't have to put up with this. I don't have to feel this way or feel this way about myself. I remember a particularly toxic relationship of a year that I don't even know why I was in the relationship. I was in it for him because I felt like he needed me. And I remember leaving his house, and I will never forget this day. I left his house and I was crying and I was like, I hate who I am when I am with you.
Yes.
And I was like, what is, like, this is not me. This is not who I'm meant to be. Like, what is happening here? And all of a sudden I had this huge light bulb moment. I'm like, no more.
It's that easy. Yet how much time did you waste? Life is such a gift. Life is not guaranteed. Life is unpredictable, and it's all of these things, but it's also worth living your true, authentic life.
Yes.
Stop settling.
Who cares what other people think too? Because you get into these relationships or you get into these positions, and then you're just like, well, my mom would be really disappointed if I left my kid's dad, or or this person, or what would society, like you said, you showed up to kindergarten and people thought that you were the nanny. Like, who actually gives a crap what anybody else's projection is of you? Because that's all it is. It's their opinion and their projection of themselves that they're making a decision based on how they feel and how they see the world. So as soon as you have that concept in your mind, you're like, yeah, I don't care anymore.
I can tell you I'll never settle again. I'm so in love right now. I'm not going to get there right now, but I'm so in love. He challenges me and supports me. I never knew this love was possible. I wish it for the whole world. I love love.
I know
I love love. It's tremendous. So if you're stuck in an ugly spot, whether that be with your family or with work, or you're in a routine that no longer fulfills you, or you're making unhealthy habits a regular routine in your life and you don't want it, this is where I step in. I am here for you. I don't have all the answers. I will listen. I will introduce you to people who might be able to help you. I will hold your hand. I'm a shoulder for you. I can't fix all your problems, but I sure as heck am here for you while you go through them, because I know it takes a village, and that's why I write. That's why I share my life publicly. That's why I go live and follow my Instagram accounts. Please, I feel like the world needs people to step forward and say, hi, I'm here. I went through shit. I overcame it, and I want to teach you my lessons. That's all I'm doing.
I'm here to say it's okay. I'm gonna help you through this. And you do radiate that, by the way. If you ever spend 5 minutes in the presence of Charlene, she literally radiates love, acceptance, support. Like, she is that human being. You don't even need to know her, and that's what she radiates. So it's pretty incredible. And she can and definitely do that through online, which is so cool. So sorry, continue. I keep interrupting you. I'm just like, we have so much to talk about.
I know, I miss you. Okay, so I'll start with this book. My next book project, I didn't expect to join, is called Dear Time. Dear Time, are you on my side? Let me tell you, Christina, when I birthed my children, I didn't know if they would live 10 seconds longer. I didn't know if tonight, when I returned from my shower or from sleep or from pumping, if they'd be alive. And part of that is, I'm gonna cry. Part of that is I was young. I was a child. I did not have knowledge of NICUs and preemies and children. I had nothing to compare it to. So when, my son or daughter was unable to breathe, and the alarms are going off and they're just having a bradycardia moment, and this is actually very common, I felt they were dying. So Dear Time was pitched to me. I was invited to join this project. It was interesting, and it was a hard one, because in this book I write about how my children taught me to value time, value 10 seconds, how to value a day, an hour. Each of my pregnancies and births, and then my children's lives and how they unfolded, have taught me that tomorrow is not guaranteed at all. For you, for your daughter, for me, for my children. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with COVID. We don't know what's going to happen to our country. We have no idea, but don't get lost in that lane. Appreciate, inhale, exhale, appreciate right now, pause and stop and count your blessings. And in these books, we have a hardcover and a soft cover. I literally spill out the secret to appreciating right now. And I explain to you why I learned that and why that's valuable. This is definitely one of my favorite books. The women in this book have way different experiences than me, so it's very diverse. It's an interesting book because it's not written only for women. It is written for anybody who wants to learn to appreciate right now. And I definitely encourage you to read it.
I will. And the funny thing is, unfortunately, I have the same feeling about time, because I went through trauma too. You don't have to go through trauma. My daughter, when she was born, didn't breathe for her first 5.5 minutes, which seemed like forever. And I kept asking, is she okay? And nobody would respond, because they couldn't respond. And I remember thinking, I don't care about anything else on this planet. I don't care what is happening outside. I don't care about my life, my goals, my dream. I don't care about anything. This child needs to survive.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I care about. And
boy, did you learn how long a minute can be.
Oh my God. And that changes you. That shakes you to your absolute core. And then all of a sudden, time is the most precious commodity of all. And just like you said, look at us. Look, we're so secure. But all of a sudden, you change how you behave, because time could be taken from you instantly, and you don't recognize that until you've had other traumas in your life too, that you've seen stuff like this happen, and you're just like, I am so grateful for what I have today in this moment. You're probably a mom like me, that if Izzy comes in here, I drop everything right? I drop everything. I'm like, okay, what can I do to be present? And then she goes back and then I go back to work. But like that shifts and changes with your experience in life. So I really like that book. I like the idea of that book.
And it shifts, and it's not just in parenting too. It's, I'm a better employee. I'm a better businesswoman. I hope I'm a better wife to my now husband. I'm a better daughter. Like, yes, don't get me wrong. My children drive me bonkers. They're teenagers. I have 3 of them. They drive me bonkers. I can't keep up to what's current these days.
So don't worry.
Like, I don't understand the language they speak. I really don't want to play any more video games with you. However, I think those thoughts. I don't say them out loud to them. And you know what? I stop and I try to just inhale, exhale, and refocus, you know, whatever is cycling or bugging me or frustrating me. Sometimes I'll just be blunt. You know, I don't want to do that. I love you. I will do something different. Let's refocus and try again, right? Or whatever.
I love it.
And then the last book I currently have for sale is You've Got This Mama Too. This is a really powerful book for me as a woman and as a survivor, so to speak, because in this contribution, I write about introducing my children to my now partner, deciding to give love a second chance, healing from trauma and abuse, and understanding that those patterns and traumas do not have to be my future, and everything to go with learning to co-parent with someone who is not my children's biological father. So we've had our struggles, we've had our hiccups, but we've had tremendous success. And I share all of that journey in You've Got This Mama Too. That's a powerful book for me as a person, because it really demonstrates my growth, how you can have a past and choose a future.
Yeah, you're not defined by your past, and nor are you set in stone on what your future is. If you think that the things that have happened to you can, you know, are things that you're stuck with, because you can heal through. I know a lot about your past, and you've healed through so much. You've healed through so much. And what I love about you is that you've had the courage to tell your story and change that for other women so that they don't feel alone in the things that you had to go through on your own. You know, I think that is such a powerful gift. And I'm so grateful there are women out there like you that are willing to be vulnerable and have the courage to speak their voice so that other people don't feel alone.
Even if it's hard. Exactly. The world needs you. The world needs me. The world needs all of us to step up to our potential and stop being silenced. Just speak, just talk, just share. We would be a better planet if we all did. I'm not going to introduce all of my new books coming out. 4 of them are being released this year. Check out my website.
Yeah, okay.
Check out my website, CoachCharleyBrown.com, my Instagram, my Facebook page.
I just want to say hi. Really quick hi. Okay.
Oh, I love her.
We're in the My Dress Myself page. Okay.
Good morning.
You saying hi? This is my friend Charley, and I know you're on your pogo stick.
What is this?
Mommy's just in the middle of a live. Can I come back and bounce on your pogo stick in about 10 minutes? Quick hi. Let's go. Zip,
Really?
Zip. Slow exit. Come on, baby. So sorry, girl.
It's okay. My dogs are trying to bark and tell me that your daughter's here, but she's not.
Oh, because they can. I know why. Because her pogo stick squeaks like a dog toy.
So it just makes them go bonkers.
So that's our life. No. So sorry. But what I would love, so the books that you're in the process of are on your website. These books are on your website, but also, we wanted to chat a little bit about, this time that we're at home. We talked a little bit about COVID, and being in isolation, but let's talk a little bit about the self-love and self-care that we could be doing now. And if you do have a story, because so many people, I didn't look at myself as an author, yet I create content all day, every day online, right?
You're exactly where I was.
Right?
I mean, I think when I first pitched you, and it's interesting that I came to you and was like, hey, wait a second, you need to join a book. And it's interesting to watch how this evolves. But even if you're not aware of it, your growth over the last year since starting this project has been tremendous. I encourage everyone watching this to take a friend or share or like have a conversation with your neighbor or maybe with yourself and remind yourself, A, that you're worthy and that your experiences are valuable, and B, reach out to me or to you or to Kylie or to Golden Brick Road Publishing House, because
Yes.
we want your perspective and your experiences to be in one of our books, because that's how we come together in a world full of such hate and trauma and negativity. We rise together by helping others. And these are what these books are about. I can't believe I'm in 10. That's insane. Guys, I'm a mom. That's all I do. I didn't go to school to become an author. I didn't go to school to become
an influencer. Like, this is what people don't understand, is that like we just feel like normal human beings.
Yes, right? There's nothing crazy special. I just refuse to shut up.
Right. And have a little bit of courage to talk about the stuff that was difficult, because we know that it's going to help so many people, right? We know that it's going to help so many people get through the stuff that they need to get through right now, and help them heal. Because let's all be honest, like, you go, when you've had a bad day, maybe you had a breakup or whatever, maybe things are going bad at work, you go to your best friend and you're like, hey, this sucks. This is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. What do? They either tell you that that's okay or whatever, or they reiterate a story that was similar. And then all of a sudden you feel that feeling, that emotion is dispersed. Why? Because we're learning and growing together and we're supporting each other. And what's fascinating is that you can do that online. You can do that through books. You can do that through speaking. You can do that in all different ways. And I just never thought, much like you, I was just like, I never thought putting my pen to paper would be the way that I would do that, but it's just a different way of expressing yourself.
It's the same art. And, and I can't speak for you, but there are some posts and some books, or sometimes I'm going to a speaking event, that I am frozen in absolute fear before moving forward. This isn't an easy chapter of life to publicly share the joys and the struggles, but it's an important one. And I just feel gratitude that you're part of my circle. I feel gratitude that you're brave enough to sit there and talk about what you've gone through. I am so grateful for Kylie, her publishing house, and all the co-authors in these books that I'm part of, but in the books that I'm going to be part of. I am so grateful that I have found my village, my spot, my worth, my joy, and I just want that for everyone. So please reach out to me, ask me any questions. I will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, all of it, because I know what it's like to have no one to talk to, and I know what it's like to be paralyzed by fear, and I know what it's like to be abused and unloved and lost. I've been there. That's all I offer. I offer life experience and an interesting new perspective at the future. That's it.
And possibly an opportunity and an outlet.
Exactly. Right. And this spins to COVID. Christina, we have got to offer love to those who are fearful right now, because this time, this world is toxic and scary, and it feels unsafe. And I know that it's overwhelming at times. It's unhealthy. It's not normal. It's not regular. And I just want to offer, if I can, a little advice.
Of course, please.
I encourage you, whoever's watching this and listening to this, to cleanse your energy. And I know that sounds magical and hoo-hoo and a little unicorn.
I'm like, does it?
Go girl. This can be done with sage. This can be done in nature. This can be self-care, but you cannot absorb all of the stress the world is feeling and internalize that and still grow and thrive. So find your outlet, pause, find your outlet that you can do from home while respecting the law and the boundaries and self-isolating, but find a fucking outlet, because you cannot just continue to absorb all of this. That's like my biggest advice for women and moms and men and dads and people who are frontline workers. Find an outlet. Maybe it's writing or working out or sleeping or self-care. Maybe it's gardening or reconnecting with friends and family.
Yes.
Yeah, find an outlet. If you want introductions, I can ask me anything. I know people who are doing Reiki live. I know people who are offering meditations right now. People who are teaching people how to garden, which sounds silly, but I love those videos. I love them. Teach me how to grow corn.
I honestly just got into a whole bunch of gardening groups and I'm fascinated. I'm so excited to be there. I'm like, this is amazing. It's something that I can do with Izzy, right? And I think, you know, when this all first came around, there was a lot of stuff going around on Facebook about as toxic, I would say, as watching the news. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because the news is here to make money. People on Facebook were buying into it and people were asking people's opinions. And I said to my team, I was like, look, people need leaders right now. They need a light. They need positivity. They need leaders. We don't need to feed into people's fear. Like that is going to happen at home when they're by themselves. They think about somebody that just lost their job, or they think about a family member that's sick in the hospital that they can't go visit. Yeah. Everyone is going to be affected. I think about friends that just had a baby. Like all of this stuff is weird, right? So how are we going to show up authentically and be able to help other people by telling them that it's weird, by saying, hey, you know what? But there are things like Charlene just said, exercise, writing, starting a new hobby, getting outside, getting fresh air, meditation, yoga, all these things you can do at home. And again, create that mental space to find clarity. And maybe life wasn't going the way that you wanted it to. Maybe it was. And this is like, okay, like this is a great refresher. I'm so happy I'm on the right path, but maybe it wasn't going the way that you wanted it to. And this is your time and space to figure that shit out now. Like this is don't waste this time being at home and like watching Netflix and binge drinking and doing whatever you're doing. It's okay sometimes. It's okay to have a Friday night, right? Like it's totally fine. But be focused on what could be happening in this space and know that when you have those moments of doubt, fear, scared, like honestly,
those are okay.
All of that is okay. It's okay to feel those things, but don't sit in them. Don't take the weight of the world and put it on your shoulders. What are we going to do? You know what? I don't care if this is a conspiracy. I don't care if, I don't care what people out there are saying. I have not watched the news in like 3 weeks because I'm just like, what the heck is the point of me getting spun up about it when my goal and my time should be spent helping other people, right?
Yes.
Like that's where the focus should be.
They say, whoever they say taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's essential. I don't know whose quote that is, but I have it all around my house. Take care of yourself. Take this time to pause and pivot, or pause and grow, or just to pause. I have 3 teenagers. I'm in the military. I'm an author. I'm a health and wellness coach. My children are in crazy amount of activities and juggling work. We're never home. I have never spent a month with my children since they were infants. Yeah. Infants. I don't do this. Like, are you kidding me? Now, part of that is really hard. Our whole world stopped and changed. And the other part of that is what a tremendous opportunity to reconnect with my family. Yeah. I'm locked in my house with my family. Life could be worse. Life could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love your perspective. Thank you so much for taking the time today to share your story, to share your books, to share some really great thoughts and ideas, to set intentions during this difficult time, to connect with the people that you love, to make those phone calls and connect with relatives and people that you care about the most. I really appreciate you, girl. I'm so happy that you came into my life. Like, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for always showing up authentically. Like, I'm just, to have a tribe of women that support you, that encourage you, that make you feel like you're at home. If you don't have that, you need to go out and find it. Like you need
join us.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yeah,
We're here.
totally. There's a seat at our table for you, and we are happy to have you here, because I know that my life, like you said, you know, you're not the same person that you were a year ago, 10 years ago, 10
5
days
minutes.
ago, right?
Like
5
minutes ago.
Yeah. Like you constantly evolve and grow. And when you find women that are of the same thought, you grow together and you support each other. And it's so much more fun and it's easier and you just feel so much more supported. So if you need a seat at the table, please ask. We are here for you. We're here to support you in this hard time. And maybe we don't see it as a hard time. Maybe we just see it as a little pause, right?
I love it. I love you always.
Thank you so much, girl. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye. See you.
Bye.